Hello, Uniquely Cindy here. I wanted to share some stuff with you this afternoon. As you know, I've mentioned in my last video that we just celebrated our 42nd wedding anniversary, and we went to the Smoky Mountains and we spent some time in Gatlinburg. We kind of breezed through Gatlinburg, went through Pigeon Forge, spent a couple of nights in Surreyville, and then we went to Cades Cove. Now, I love Cades Cove. I said caves, it's Cades, C-A-D-E-S. I grew up here and it said cave, but it is actually Cades. And I love it. It's a beautiful place, and you can just go through there and imagine life as it was at one time in the Great Smoky Mountains. I picked up some books while I was there because I wanted to find out some more history about Cades Cove, and I am still reading them, so I haven't read everything yet, but this is one. This has got some beautiful pictures in it of Cades Cove, the dream of the Great Smoky Mountains. And then I have this one written by Randolph Shields. It's called The Cades Cove Story. They both seem very interested. I've read excerpts of both of them. So if you get up there, look for these books. I picked mine up at the Apple Barn in Pigeon Forge, and they've been a very good read. They're light reads, but they have a lot of history. Cades Cove is now a national park. It was in September, Labor Day, 1940, that President Roosevelt dedicated Cades Cove, the Smoky Mountain area, as a national park. He loved the park, and he done this to preserve the beauty and the history of Cades Cove. You can go there today. You can see the cabins. You can walk along the mountain streams. You can walk through the woods. You can walk in the fields. The animals roam free, so be cautious of that. We saw some beautiful deer, bunch of points on their antlers. I missed it, but I did get to see the tourist in front of us. They showed us the pictures of the mama bear and the baby bear, and I love it. Use wisdom, because these are not pets. These are live, wild animals, so use some wisdom out there. Be prepared to stay a while, because it's only an 11-mile loop around Cades Cove, but it took us, I think, 3.5, 4 hours to get through Cades Cove. And I knew that wasn't my first rodeo with that. But, more tourists you have, the longer it's going to take. Also, make sure you take something to drink. If you need food, take you some snacks or something, because there's no convenience stores. There's nothing like that to buy snacks and all that. There is a welcome center going into Cades Cove, so you can stop and go to the restroom, stretch your legs and all that. You can get out any place that you want to walk in Cades Cove and walk around and look at the beauty. There's many things there that I like to see. Tonight or this afternoon, I want to give you just a quick timeline of Cades Cove. Now, there's a lot more history here. I have not been able to read all of it yet. I've not been able to study all of it yet. But as you watch my videos, I'm going to try to put up an introductory to each video so I can tell you a little bit about it, especially when you get to the churches, because there's a funny with the churches. And so I'm going to put up a video for that. And then you've got the different places that are there, the different cabins that are there. You have the Europeans. The first arrival of the Europeans was in the mid-1500s. Now, the Native American Indians was the ones that lived in the Smoky Mountains before then. Now, I know all through history you have your trappers and you have your travelers, but as far as people coming and trying to settle the land, according to what I've been reading, it started around the 1500s, mid-1500s. In 1540, a Spanish explorer named Hernando de Soto was the first to come to the mountains there. And then in 1557, a Spanish missionary came to the Smoky Mountains, and he recorded that he found the Native American Indians there living in peace with their beautiful Smoky Mountains. And I thought that was a wonderful sentiment. In 1725, in between 1557 and 1725, other people had started coming through the mountains, traveling through and all. And an epidemic broke out of smallpox in 1725. Now, the Native Americans did not have the immunity to fight the smallpox, and it swept through their nation, killing many. After the smallpox epidemic was over, the Cherokee Nation came together and started moving together into bigger bands so that they would have bigger villages and all. And one of those villages became known as Cades Cove. Now, Cades Cove has never been excavated. Why? I don't know. It could have been because by the time archaeologists decided they wanted to do it, it was a national park. It could have been just accessibility. I don't know why it was never excavated, but it's never been excavated, so they really don't know where the nations lived, or they don't have a lot of history on pottery and all that stuff. So, you know, the boundary lines of Cades Cove, all that is just part of the national park. So remember that. Now, after the epidemic and people start settling, next thing that hit on the timeline was the Revolutionary War. And yes, in the cemeteries there are Revolutionary War soldiers. That surprised me. I knew we'd have the Confederacy there. I knew we may have some Union there. And I knew we'd have other people, the settlers and the pioneers. But I really didn't think about the Revolutionary War touching the Smoky Mountains. But it did. And so we have Revolutionary warriors there. Then the next thing that happens around these same time periods, the Revolutionary War and the Civil War, is the Cherokee Nation, with Sequoyah being the author, was the first written Cherokee language. I had to get that's a mouthful to say it one time. And many of you may remember studying Sequoyah in school. I do. And Sequoyah is the one that developed and wrote the first Cherokee alphabet and the Cherokee words. And so the language became a written language within this time period. Now, in 1794, even before it was legal, there was a 5,000-acre land grant given to Hugh Dunlap. And Hugh Dunlap took this land grant, and this became known. It was a 5,000-acre, and it became known as Cades Cove. So Cades Cove was the first original land grant. Then in 1818, John and Lucretia Oliver and their newborn baby girl were the first white settlers to move into the cove and become permanent settlers. In 1838, became known as the Great Indian Roundup. By boats, by buggies, by ponies, by the power of their feet, the Cherokee Nation was rounded up and carried along what became known as the Trail of Tears to Indian Territory in Oklahoma. Now, the Cherokee people in the Smoky Mountains already had title to the reservation there. So not all Cherokees went willingly that was rounded up. Some managed to escape, and they managed to hide within the Smoky Mountains. Some managed to escape and get to the reservation. Those that did bound together with the Indians that was already on the reservation, and that became known as the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Nation. So not all went on the Trail of Tears. Thousands died on the Trail of Tears. Thousands were dislocated. So it was a sad time in history, as many other sad times in history are. We have on the in Cades Cove, you'll see many cabins, and some of the earlier owners of the cabins, and I've already mentioned the Tiptons. I love their cabin. But you have the Oliver family, you have the Whitehead family, you have the Shields family, the Abbott's family, the Sparks family, and the Powell's family, and some that I probably haven't even mentioned yet. As I read more into the history and the stories of Cades Cove, I'm going to share more with you. It's a beautiful history. It's a beautiful history. I won't start sharing some with you on the Cherokee Nation. It's a beautiful story. Cades Cove in the Smoky Mountains area that we were in is also known as the Otter, the Trail of the Otter. I want to make sure I get that right. The Place of the Otter. And there's a beautiful Cherokee story there about the Place of the Otter. So I'll share that with you the next time we're together. Thanks for stopping by. Like and subscribe. ring that bell, and let me know what else that you might like. If you have any questions, comments, or some fill-ins on my little bit of knowledge, let me know, because I know some of you's been there a lot more times than I have, but I have found it to be a beautiful place. So you enjoy the videos, enjoy the books if you're able to get a hold of them, and I'll share some more with you in the very near future. Uniquely Cindy here. Until next time.